Real Talk is proudly sponsored by Y-Wave P20 Pro and MTN.
It can affect anyone at any time and from any walk of life. Today we tackle the world's leading killer, infecting more than 400,000 South Africans annually, tuberculosis. For many years, TB has been stigmatized and generally treated as something to be ashamed of, particularly because of its connection to HIV and AIDS. Well, thanks to medical advancements happening right here in our backyard, 2018 may very well be the year we lead in the trend of combating this prevalent illness. Tonight I'm joined by a sight for sore eyes. Jerry Altson is an international humanitarian, activist, public figure, businesswoman, and the National TB Ambassador. Well, I don't need to recount all the extraordinary things you've done in your career. Welcome, Jerry.
I'm so honored to be here. Thank
and talking
you.
about something that is so close to your heart.
Oh, I can speak about TB for days.
Yeah.
It's good that you're live. You can cut me off at any time.
Okay, you've given me permission. But you are the ambassador. You've
Yes.
been the ambassador for a number of years, or going on to 16 years now.
16 years now, yes. I first had TB in my womb, actually, all those years ago.
Yes.
I got onto treatment for 9 months, and I realized how unspoken the message of TB is, and I simply had to get involved.
You were busy with a huge project, in fact.
I was.
You were hosting a TV show, a reality show that had people all over this continent watching.
The biggest, the most historic, and,
yes,
and yet in my personal life I had this little thing going on that really tormented me.
How did you know? What were the first signs, the early signs that something was wrong?
I actually had no symptoms and signs whatsoever, and that's a very big conversation we're having right now, is the amount of people who are carriers of TB, but they are not symptomatic. They have no idea that they are carrying tuberculosis, and how we handle them. That's a very big conversation. So for me, I'd simply gone through fertility treatment, fertility doctor after fertility doctor, and it was one young man who had just come back from an international symposium who said, I just want to try one more thing. I'm going to take a biopsy of your womb, and I'm going to send it off and find out what's going on inside of the organ as such. And it came back that I had tuberculosis in the lining of my womb.
I'm sure you were hella surprised.
So confused. I mean, you hear about TB, you hear that you're able to contract it in your lungs, it's supposed to show up. And in fact, what then happens is you find out you have TB, you think about it just as TB, you then go to a pulmonary specialist who then begins to look at your lungs, because that is where TB is supposed to reside. And he finds nothing and he sends me home and says, I don't know who told you this, you don't have TB.
Wow.
And Azania, I happened to be sitting with a doctor friend who did his practicals in the rural areas of the Eastern Cape. And I said to him, I don't know what to do anymore. And he said, let me look at this. And he said, Jerry, get to the closest center where you can get onto treatment. I see this in the rural areas all the time. The city doctors, sorry, really are not necessarily affair with what is going on. And so that's what I did. And 9 months later, we did another biopsy and it came back clear.
No, what's interesting about you is that you decided to go public about it.
I did.
You were in the limelight, you were being written about, you were the it girl, if we can put it that way. But you decided to go public.
I did.
Because there is a lot of stigma around it. What informed that decision for you?
When you walk into a TB clinic at 7 in the morning and there's 109 people sitting there, chances are, and you're on one of the biggest shows on television, chances are someone's going to recognize you.
Yeah.
And I wanted to get ahead of that traffic initially. But it became a great opportunity for me to actually put a face to TB.
Yes, because so often we wouldn't think, or back then anyway, you wouldn't be the face of TB.
I had incidents where my friends would see me in the mall. This is true. And they would give me a wide berth. And I'd be like, and I thought, why? And it's simply,
as in,
yeah,
as
nice,
far as possible.
Yes.
This Jerry.
Yes.
Let's stay away from
that.
that.
I actually had an experience like that. And I realized that this is just one person. Imagine what someone, and this is a strong-willed, outspoken, upwardly mobile individual as myself. Can you imagine what other people are experiencing? And I decided I would take the rap for them.
Yes, and I remember there was one cover that literally said that, the face of TB.
The bubbly
which
face
is quite bold.
Yeah, I'm still bubbly. I'm almost 50 and still bubbling. But different conversation, another day.
I know.
But yeah, the most important thing, I think, for me was to ensure that people adhere to their treatment.
Yes.
It was one of the most difficult things for me to do. And right now in the Department of Health, we actually have a survey going around that will look at exactly that, you know, adherence to treatment, because that is where we are. We're not losing the fight, but we're just not making as much of an impact because people are not staying on their treatments.
In your years of being ambassador, what has impacted you the most? Because you get to work with other people who've been infected.
I do. I think it's walking into MDR clinics, multi-drug resistant TB environments, and seeing mothers, fathers, and children who, at some stage in their treatment, cannot be with their families.
Yes.
MDR never really needed to exist if we had adhered to our TB treatment. And to see individuals who are unable to be with their families is one of the hardest things.
So they have to be removed. And
yes.
They have to literally live within facilities.
Yes.
So that they don't infect others with this resistant strain of tuberculosis.
And then the deaths.
Yeah.
You want to cry because TB is 100% curable, even if you have MDR.
Is that why you remain an ambassador?
The reason I remain an ambassador is because we cannot have 160,000 missing patients at this time. And then again, they are the ones who are non-symptomatic, but they are walking around because they have not been tested. You cannot have 400,000 deaths a year of something that is curable, even if you're HIV positive. TB treatment is fundamental to the longevity of your life. And so I just want most South Africans to understand it doesn't matter what walk of life you come from. I don't care what the color of your skin is. This is an airborne bacterium,
yes.
and we can do something about it.
Did you ever ask yourself, why me? Was there ever a time?
Initially, yes, I did, because remember, all I wanted was a baby. So I'm not sure I asked myself, why me about the TB? It was all round. And when I spoke to my mom, she said, well, where did you pick up this thing? Because, you know, no one in the family has it. And I already lived outside of the home for a long, long time. But who knows, and did it matter anymore? The fact is, it could have come from working in a studio.
Yes.
I could have picked it up on a taxi. I could have picked it up in a shopping center. I could have picked it up just anywhere, because it's such an opportunistic thing, you know. A TB just catches you. Your immune system can just be slightly low.
Yes.
Slightly low.
And that's when then the symptoms start showing up.
That's right.
But did it also affect your abilities or your body's ability to have children?
It has. I have not had children because of the TB in my womb.
Yeah.
So, but the joy I get out of being an advocate and adopting so many children of my own has changed who I am.
Yes.
I often think that if I didn't have TB as a cause to take forward, how selfish my life might have been.
Yes, and we see how you've embraced the young people that you are raising.
House full of children.
Exactly, the incredible influence you've been on their lives. Jerry, it was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sure. Well, after the break, we have more in-depth conversations about the effects of TB in our communities, and we also get to know what makes us leaders in the treatment. We'll see you later. On the 18th of June 2018, South Africa became the leading country against the fight against tuberculosis, announcing bedaquiline as a new form of treatment. So joining me on the couch this evening is Dr. Norbert Njeka to tell us more about these advancements. Doc, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Is this a source of celebration?
Well, it is. It is a cause for celebration because TB is the most single killer disease, and if we begin to see what helps us cure more MDR-TB and XDR-TB, it's really big.
Yes, and I'm sure it's taken many years of hard work across different facilities to get to a point where we would have this kind of medication available.
Exactly. We used to cure only 40% of our MDR-TB after 2 years of treatment.
2 years?
2 years, 40%. Now we talk 50%. When you look at the most severe form of drug-resistant tuberculosis called XDR-TB, extensively drug-resistant tuberculosis, we used to cure, 10%, then it moved to 20%, 25%. Now we're able to cure 3 out of 4 in that group.
Yes.
The most sick TB, you know, among the group that get bedaquiline. So it's really big news, and we're excited about it.
Absolutely, because as a patient, when you hear these kind of time periods, it can deter one. But let's first understand MDR, multi-drug resistant tuberculosis. What's happened for someone to develop it?
Well, MDR-TB is multi-drug resistant tuberculosis. It's a severe form of tuberculosis that would not respond to the most effective medicines that we have to treat tuberculosis, which are rifampicin and isoniazid. So MDR-TB is really difficult to treat for that reason.
So if I'm diagnosed with TB, I'm placed on the first bunch of medications,
which is rifampicin, isoniazid, pyrazinamide, and ethambutol. But of these 4, rifampicin and isoniazid are the strongest.
Yes, and if I don't adhere, then I end up building up a resistance.
Usually, if you do not adhere, you can develop resistance. But 1 out of 2 people with MDR-TB in South Africa have picked it up first time around. They
see.
picked up in a public transportation or in all these, any place, I mean, where a lot of people come together. These are the places where people pick up.
Is that who's most at risk?
Well, the HIV puts you at risk, but anybody can get it. You know, old age, HIV, if you got sugar diabetes, these are some of the key factors that makes you vulnerable. But HIV definitely is the most important factor.
So the fact that someone can be infected for the first time with multi-drug resistant tuberculosis, is that the reason why you've had to quarantine and let people remain under supervision for protracted periods of time without releasing them into the broader community? Well,
basically, it's a bit of that, but mainly because drug-resistant tuberculosis had to be treated for a 2-year period, of which you get 6 months or 8, sometimes 12, with an injectable agent, which you would then, so it was felt that people have to be in hospital to receive the injection and all that. But with the use of bedaquiline, one of the reasons why we're really excited is that we feel that it can do better than the injectable. We can get better cure.
Yes.
While you don't have to give to somebody a painful injection every day for 6 months or 8 months. So that's really quite exciting.
Absolutely. And I can only imagine what it does to an infected person to have to live at a hospital for protracted periods, to receive an injection on a daily basis, and for such a long time. So when you look at the impact on the economy, are you able to tell us what that has been?
Well, in terms of the economy, of course, you need healthy people in a country to make money to contribute. You know, so that's really what we tend to benefit most, because we've noticed that the group of patients that receive bedaquiline die less. There's a 3-fold reduction in terms of mortality. That's really what makes us more exciting, because if you can reduce death in a group of patients, you have a better chance to cure most of them, and they can be good citizens. They can contribute to the country's economy. But also, when you cure most of your patients, you can begin to bring down the whole question of transmission. You'll have fewer people in future to treat, and you save a lot of money. I mean, we don't have to have all these thousands of people with tuberculosis or drug-resistant tuberculosis. You know, so if we get fewer patients with TB, we can save some money. That's also good for the economy.
Absolutely, and we can redirect it to other efforts.
Definitely.
So there's this conference happening in New York in September. It's coming at a critical time, soon, months after the announcement was made in June. What will our contribution be there?
Well, our minister will be attending, Dr. Aaron Motsoaledi. I've heard at the TB conference in Durban that the state president will also be attending. So there's been a lot happening in South Africa since Dr. Aaron Motsoaledi came to be our minister. You know, we've done quite a lot. For example, GeneXpert, which is the best test to test TB. We're the first country really to scale up this at program level. They quite a lot of exciting news. I don't want to take minister's show. I'm sure he'll be very happy to be telling, but there is a lot. The minister has a lot to talk about. The NHI and all this and that. There's a lot, really.
But this is one of those announcements.
This is one of those that we expect minister will be sharing with other heads of state and other ministers.
And public health has been quite instrumental in ensuring that bedaquiline is available and that patient care is being administered from public facilities. Definitely.
We have budgeted, all our provinces have budgeted for bedaquiline since we started using. Between 2013 and 2015, we received a donation for 200 patients. From 2015 till now, we're purchasing. All provinces have budgeted for this. And yeah, it's work in progress. It's really a collective effort from the healthcare workers, all provinces, which has helped us to then do an analysis, and we picked up that those that are not getting bedaquiline are missing on something, because the patients that get it do much better. We know that our work is not yet fully done, but for you to find out what is helping you for success and expand that to everybody within the drug-resistant TB cohort, I think that's really where the excitement is coming from.
Absolutely. But help me in understanding what the impact of tuberculosis has been to South Africa over the years.
You know, tuberculosis has been really a big problem, because South Africa is a high burden country. We're number 6 globally. We used to be number 3. We're now number 6. When you look at the numbers, it is big. But when you look at the BRICS countries, BRICS countries have what, half or 60% of your MDR TB. You know, now to treat MDR TB is very expensive. You spend a lot of money. I mean, we used to spend we spend 300 rand to treat someone for susceptible TB or ordinary TB. 300 rand.
Yes.
But if you want to treat the MDR TB, you're looking at 24,000 rand for a 2-year treatment. Now we're going to spend less than that, but still, it won't be less than 10,000 rand. So it's quite expensive to have to treat a lot of patients on drug-resistant tuberculosis, but also the high death rate among your drug-resistant tuberculosis. 1 out of 5, we're seeing now is coming down because of bedaquiline, but that's why we took a decision to give to everybody so that we can get maximum benefits.
Absolutely, and I hope that we can achieve a TB-free South Africa in the near future.
We can.
Thank you so much, Dr. Njeka. Thank you. That was Dr. Norbert Njeka. South Africa's interpret announcement on bedaquiline comes at a very critical time for this country. I want to encourage you to get involved. You can send us your 20-second voice notes on WhatsApp. Have you been affected by TB? What's the impact been on your life? And we'll take those after the break. Well, Jerry is back on the couch with us, and joining her is Noludwe Mabandlela, who is a survivor of tuberculosis. Welcome. Welcome to both of you. Noludwe, unjani sis? Hi, ngiyaphila. Thank you for being here.
Oh, okay. It's a pleasure also for me for coming here.
You join us all the way from Khayelitsha.
Yes.
And you are currently in treatment for MDR tuberculosis, right?
Yes.
So when did you first realize that not all is well?
At the beginning of 2017, I could feel that there are a lot of changes in my body, but I didn't associate the changes with TB or anything, because at that time I was pregnant. So I thought it's the pregnancy that was making me sick and everything. Until I was admitted in hospital in July, and I was diagnosed of MDR TB while I was in hospital.
And how did you feel?
It was very much difficult, and I was sad. I didn't know that you can get MDR TB the first time, because I never had TB before.
What did you know about TB before? Because for so many of us, it's about the cough, it's about the weight loss, and you didn't have any of those signs.
I wasn't coughing, but I've lost the weight, though I didn't realize, because I was pregnant, so
the baby weight covered it.
Yeah, I wasn't gaining any weight. And the other thing is that I was always tired, but I never cough or maybe sweat at night and everything. So I didn't have any symptoms.
Yes, and Jerry, that's another message that we need to emphasize, because the messaging for so many years, whether it's what we were taught at school or even PSAs, public service announcements, will reinforce certain symptoms to look out for. And yet with both of you, you weren't demonstrating these symptoms.
What one would call asymptomatic. And the World Health Organization has put together a campaign that we are part of, and it's called Find the Missing Millions. And the missing millions are those people who are carriers of TB, but don't necessarily have the outward symptoms of TB. And it's, you know, it's that urging that you want to give people to say, is something wrong or you're not feeling well? Have a TB test.
Yes.
And that's part of what
As a matter of course, right? You visit your GP.
Yes.
You know, they will check for certain things, diabetes, you have to take, you know,
that's right.
prick.
They take
they
your
ask for
sugar
your urine.
anyway. They take your blood pressure. Why not just quickly take a sputum test?
Right. And
it's non-invasive.
Absolutely. And check whether or not there's tuberculosis.
Yes.
But Noludu, how did it affect your pregnancy?
Okay, they found out very late. Unfortunately, the baby didn't make it. Oh. Yeah, so like it was like that. But continued with the treatment.
You had to continue after that.
Yes.
So not only were you dealing with this prognosis, but you also you had to mourn the passing of your baby.
Yes.
Very trying. So sorry to hear that.
Okay.
So you stayed within the program.
Yes.
And you're still in it now.
Yes.
So many people give up along the way because part of the public messaging has also been about adhering and finishing the course, the tuberculosis course. Yeah. So what keeps you going?
Okay, I had so much support from my family, from my church, and also from my kids. They were so much supportive.
Because you have 2 boys,
yes,
right? 9 and what, 10?
9 and 10. They had to make sure each and every morning I do it, and then they make sure that I take the treatment. So that's one thing that kept me going, and all the support from my friends and my church.
So which treatment were you on, the injectable or the medication?
At first I was on injectable, but I suffered a lot of...
what side effects?
A lot of side effects, yes. Yeah. And then like I had to change to bedaquiline, which worked well with me.
And you're still on bedaquiline?
Yes.
Right.
Oh no, I've stopped bedaquiline because it was like 6 months, but I'm still continuing with the other treatment.
So what was the impact in your household? Were there changes that you had to make? Because you live with other people, they also have to be aware of their own condition.
Yes, they were aware. They went to the clinic. My kids are still on the program whereby they are checking them each and every 3 months to see if they didn't get the virus. So unfortunately, I was the only one in the house. I didn't infect anyone.
Absolutely. But Jerry, there are changes, right, within the home that we have to make. Everyone has to be acquainted and make preventative steps can be taken for everyone else that surrounds us.
I love the story that the children got involved in the treatment.
Make sure,
you know,
make sure
made
that
sure.
taken.
Often there's a loss of appetite.
Yeah.
Someone needs to be around you to see that you take your meds, because sometimes the side effects are so gross that you really just don't want to take it again. Sometimes you get to the point in your treatment where you are non-infectious and you're feeling quite healthy and you don't know why you have to take this for 3 more months.
Right.
I certainly went through that.
Yeah.
But I think one of the most important things, the change that comes about, is other people's family members' awareness of TB. We should also encourage families like hers to get tested. Often people go, no, you got sick, it doesn't mean that I'm sick. But what we need to do is ensure that family and friends also get tested. How beautiful to get a result back that says you're negative for TB, and you can move on with your life and support those who are struggling with TB.
Absolutely. So Jerry was telling us about how people would walk far from her. They would avoid her, keep her at a distance. Noludu, what kind of discrimination did you suffer? Was it always a positive response, or were there people who were negative?
Like I didn't experience that much, or maybe I wasn't aware if maybe there is something that is going around like that, because like I was most at home, and they were aware that I'm taking my treatment, and they were aware that the treatment was working well at the time, so it was impossible for them to get the virus.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's also signs of the times. 16 years ago, there was so much stigma around HIV. There was so much stigma around TB. And for me, this shows how things have changed, how perhaps people have become a little more aware of their environment and a little more sensitive to people struggling with TB.
Yes. Well, Jerry, thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Noludo, you're staying with us, and we're going to speak to your doctor in a short while, because there is a program that you're part of in Khayelitsha, and we'll get to grips with how it all works. Well, thank you so much to Noludo for coming on the show and sharing her incredible story. What an inspiration she is. And I hope that she's inspiring you if you're battling to stay the course when it comes to TB. Stay tuned for more after the break. And we're back with Real Talk on SABC 3. The stage is yours. Joining Noludo Mabandlela now is Dr. Anya Reiter, who is her treating doctor, one of them. And Dr. Anya Reiter has had incredible experience working in Canada, South Sudan, and here in South Africa. Welcome, welcome, Anya.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So how were you enlisted to be a part of the treating doctors for Noludo?
So when Noludo was first diagnosed with drug-resistant tuberculosis, she was quite sick. She was at the hospital. And drug-resistant tuberculosis, as I think you've heard a little bit, is treated by a whole cocktail of drugs. It can be more than 20 different tablets. And one of the components of it is an injection that's quite painful. And that injection can cause hearing loss in up to over 60% of people. Can also cause kidney failure. And the doctors from the hospital contacted me because Noludo was having problems with her kidneys in the hospital, and she was also pregnant. And so they didn't want to subject her to that injection. And that was why they actually contacted me for some advice. And then they were able to access bedaquiline instead of that injection through the Department of Health. And so we're really excited, obviously, about the announcement, because now not only people who have problems with kidneys or hearing can get bedaquiline, but it's going to be a part of everyone's treatment instead of that.
Those are serious side effects
of
the medication.
It's, you know, I like to explain it to people that it's as if you're going through chemotherapy, because it's over 20 tablets and each tablet has its own side effect. And the side effects can be really terrible. It can be things like confusion, pain in the feet, problems with your liver, problems with your kidney. And I think that's why we're excited about the new drug bedaquiline.
Yeah.
And I think we're also, you know, there's still a long way to go, because there's another new drug as well called delaminid, which was recently developed, and it's not yet registered in South Africa.
I see.
And so it's very important for us to get that new drug as well, because it's a drug that is much easier to take than some of the other drugs that we use that have a lot of side effects.
So Noludo, you must have been in a lot of pain. A lot of pain.
Yes, a lot.
Daily.
Yes.
Sure. Well, we've got a voice note. And we'll carry on with the project and the work that you're doing in Khayelitsha. So let's first listen out.
Hi, Real Talk. I've got a family member that's just recovered from stage 3 TB, the pulmonary version, and she's just got flu, and she's really weak and in a bad state, and she's giving up. Is there any treatment we can give to someone that's had that chronic form that she can recover like she used to? Please help.
Wow. How do you answer that?
I think I think the first thing would be to go to your doctor so that they can assess why you're not responding to the tuberculosis treatment. Whether perhaps it's that the TB is more resistant, or you need to change the treatment. Perhaps there's something else going on. So I would say the most important thing is to check it out with your doctor so that they can do the right tests to kind of find out what needs to be done. And then depending on what the situation is, it might be something where you may need to change treatment, or you might need one of the drugs we're speaking about, but I think it would depend on the exact condition.
And after TB treatment, getting something like a flu or pneumonia, is there a risk?
Of course, because the TB could have caused some damage to your lungs, so you might more easily get pneumonia or a flu, but you could also get TB again. You are more at risk of getting TB again, and in some people the TB does come back. So I think we've heard a lot about TB and how prevalent it is in South Africa. It's something that affects all of us. So I think just anything that is making you concerned, best to go to your nearest clinic and test for TB.
So how do we best avoid it then? Is it about ensuring that our immune systems are strong enough? Because Jerry did make the point that there are those missing millions, people who are carrying the bacteria but are asymptomatic.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of treating people who have TB and drug-resistant TB with the best drugs that we have from the beginning, so that they are cured and don't transmit the TB further, and that they are cured as fast as possible. And then I think it's also about screening and having good quality TB care in your community close to home, so that everyone has a clinic close to home or can get care for their TB close to home. For example, Noludwa was able to go right through treatment by going to her nearby clinic and getting her treatment from there.
So what is the program that's running in Khayelitsha?
So Khayelitsha is one of the sites for the Delaminid Clinical Access Program, and that's a program that is a National Department of Health initiated, and it's a way that people can get access to this drug, Delaminid, that we're really excited about. It's unfortunately only in a few areas that people have access to that drug, and so that's why what's really important is that the regulatory authority in South Africa registers the drug as soon as possible, because there are 19,000 people diagnosed with drug-resistant TB in South Africa every year, and we need to get those people on the right treatment as quickly as possible.
Yes. Well, Noludwa, I think I want to thank you for being here to share your story, because it is intensely personal. We know the stigma, we know how people have been shamed in the past.
Yes.
What motivated you to want to share your story?
What have motivated me is that there is lack of knowledge from our communities with regards to TB, and most people don't come out to get help because they are very much afraid of being stigmatized, and most people are associating TB with HIV. That is why most people are so much afraid of going out, of going public and everything.
Yes, well, you are saving lives. By sitting here, by being here, you are literally saving lives.
Yes.
Thank you so much to both of you. Thank you, Anya.
Okay.
Thank you, Noludwa.
Okay, thank you.
Well, there you go. A true story that reflects survival. I want to thank all my guests tonight for shedding light on tuberculosis and, of course, sharing their stories. Well, I can't wait until we find ourselves in a country that is TB-free, and it is possible. Well, after the break, we have a look at our Real Talk moments. Keep those coming. Stay with us to see them. Well, we've been capturing moments and connecting with people every week on the show with Huawei and Yanez Vermeiren as part of our hashtag Real Talk Moments campaign. Let's see who Yanez will be connecting with this week. Yanez is not the only one connecting with people and capturing moments. You too have been showcasing your stories on our social media pages, and we love it. So we're still giving away the Huawei P20 to one lucky winner every single week over the next 8 weeks. Whoever showcases their story and gets selected will be the winner. Well, this week's winner is Leonora Abrams. You could still be a winner, and we still have 8 more weeks to go on Real Talk Moments, so you could be like Leonora if you keep submitting your story. This week's theme is unity in diversity, so keep checking our social pages for more information for the Real Talk Moments competition, and keep watching Real Talk on 3, of course, to win big.
Okay, it's freezing cold. We're in Soweto. It's about 4 a.m. You can see the streets are completely deserted, but we're here today to meet a lovely young lady by the name of Busi. Now, she suffers from a condition called aplastic anemia. It's a very rare blood condition. And what we're doing here today is making things happen, making dreams come true. Okay, are you warm enough?
Yes, I'm warm enough, yeah.
Should I tell you what our secret is?
Yes.
So you said you're not scared of heights?
No, I'm not scared of heights.
but too much exercise is also not good for you.
No, not too much, yes.
So bungee jumping might be a little bit too much adrenaline. So I thought, let's not do that.
Okay,
So I don't want you to get hurt.
Yes, yes.
So I thought, let's go hot air ballooning. Just the two of us cruising down a dirt road. About to go hot air ballooning. For the first time ever.
Oh, so awesome. I can't wait.
Busi is suffering from aplastic anemia, and which is leukemia, blood cancer. But she's a very friendly, bubbly lady. You would never say she's actually suffering from this life-threatening disease.
At first, I was distraught because I felt helpless. I felt as if, you know, at any given time I was gonna die. But then eventually I got over it and I learned more about the disease, and taking treatment and associating myself with other people who are in the same condition as me. So that was quite encouraging.
The idea for this morning was to give Busi an experience she's never had before, something completely different. I remember the first time I went hot air ballooning was, it was in Kenya, flying over the Serengeti, and it was one of those moments that's etched in my memory forever. So I'm hoping that today is one of those experiences for her.
I can't wait to be up there in the sky. Yes.
Being up in the air was so uplifting. It felt like I was on top of the world. It was so awesome, you know. I felt like I could rise above anything.
Busi taught me a lot today. She taught me a lot about never giving up, always having hope, perseverance, being knocked down 9 times and getting up 10, and fighting till the bitter end. Are you ready for the next adventure?
There's more?
There's more.
Okay.
Finish up the coffee and we'll go.
All right.
Oh, I thought that was it. I thought that was it. I thought, wow, what a great experience, you know. But there was still more to come.
Okay. I mean, she's never given up on herself, and she even pays it forward. She's had 2 of the hardest years of her life, fighting possibly a fatal disease. Yet every morning at 5:30 she wakes up, she goes to class, she teaches her grade 11 children English, and she inspires them and she gives them hope. Can be miracles when you believe, believe.
Wow.
Now, I know with your condition, we're not meant to be doing anything dangerous, so you should be safe.
Okay.
Should we go test them out?
Yes, let's go.
He's beautiful, eh?
So massive.
Busi really amazes me. She's got so much energy and she's excited for every activity we do. Like she's up for anything, literally. Busi, I don't know who's more nervous, myself or you, because you don't look nervous at all, actually. Okay, you can see Busi's getting really comfortable on the horse now. She's cruised around probably 2 or 3 times already. Wow, you are fearless, eh? Yes. You are absolutely fearless. Look at you. 2 challenges, no problem.
No problem
Done.
whatsoever.
Well done.
For me, it was very therapeutic, you know, and I learned so much about horses, not just that being domesticated, but also animals that actually help you to heal.
What an awesome day.
What a great day. I'm over the moon.
I can't believe how brave you actually are. The balloon was one thing, but getting onto a horse, that's a whole different ballgame.
I'm so happy for the opportunity, and I just wish to say that people must just, you know, get in touch with foundations like the Sunflower, you know, and be motivated to donate blood.
Basically, Busi needs a donor match. So we, as the Sunflower Fund, recruit donors to be on the registry, but it's DNA related, so any person that is black would actually get a match from another black person. And we would try and encourage the community to actually come on board and assist.
It's pretty simple. What we do wouldn't be possible without our sponsors. So a big thank you to Huawei for playing their part. You know, having spent a day like today, it touches my soul, really, because what Boosie's doing is she's got a massive fight on her hands, and a fight that no one really knows about except her. She's the one going through it. So, Boosie, on behalf of our friends, we've got a little gift bag for you full of goodies. There's some earphones in there, speakers,
Yay!
all those tech gadgets you've always wanted.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Wait, we also have to send a message to Real Talk back in the studio there.
Okay.
Cool. So I'm
Hey, Real Talk.
chilling here with Boosie. And Boosie, on behalf of Real Talk, I just want to say thank you, because you are such a special human being. You're such a fighter. You've struggled so much the past 2 years, and you've given me hope, and hopefully the whole of South Africa hope.
Yay! Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for the opportunity. Guys, let's do the right thing. Go out there, you know, donate blood. My donor, I'm waiting for you, right? Yeah.
Oh my goodness, her donor, she's waiting for you. She's waiting for you. I'm going to be first in line. Boosie, I'm coming to help you. And hopefully other people will be lining up as well. What an uplifting Real Talk moment. So keep in touch and follow our social media pages if you want to find out more about those. Incredible. So she managed to tick off a couple of things off her bucket list, and hopefully we delivered a memorable occasion for her. My goodness. So stay in touch with our Real Talk moments via our social pages, not only to win, but to keep up with all these uplifting stories. I want to thank all my guests for the amazing episode that we had today. I think we're truly blessed. We're absolutely blessed. Join me again tomorrow for an awesome talk right here on SABC3, where the stage is yours. Till then, from me and the rest of the team, it's good night and God bless.
Real Talk is proudly sponsored by Huawei P20 Pro and MTN.
MTN.